And we're talking about health issues, and one of the things, obviously, about health is mental health, your well-being. And talk briefly, or as long as you want, seriously, your journey and what it is like when you deny yourself your mental health, when you deny yourself the ability to be your true self, your true soul, and your authentic self.
When a little baby is born, the doctor looks up, and especially in the old days when they didn't know it was a male or female, look up and see the genitalia and say, "It's a boy." Well, don't be too quick on that one, okay? There are a lot of issues here. I have been very blessed. When I was young, there was not even, I didn't even know the word transgendered, or I didn't know why I felt this way, so I did everything to basically run away from it, literally. And it worked for me. Every story in my community is different. And it worked for me for many, many years, but it never, ever, ever, ever went away. I remember Kate Bornstein asking my two girls, Kendall and Kylie, asked her the question, when did you know you were a girl? And Kylie looks at her and goes, God, nobody's ever asked me that question before. And so Kylie and Kendall are sitting there thinking, and then when did I know I was a girl? And they're thinking about this and they're thinking about that. Well, Kendall goes, I'm a little bit of a tomboy, but I thought it was great. You know why? Because that was the first time my kids ever thought about gender, okay, and about who they are. And that same thought goes through a trans person 24 hours a day, every day, 365 days out of the year. Who am I? And I struggled with it forever. Mental health, by far, is the biggest issue. We have come a long way physically to be able to make a transition, to be able to go from one sex to the other. It's pretty amazing what the doctors have been able to do. So that is the easy portion. The bigger problem is the psychological side of this, especially for trans youth. With the amount of exposure that the transgender community has gotten over the last 15, 20 years, with the development of the internet changed the game. All of a sudden now, when I was a young person, there was no information out there. I was alone. Today, a young trans person can go on the internet and find out everything, and probably more than they need to know. Find out everything that's going on out there and figure out, wait a second, this is who I am. The mental stability for these young people is by far the most difficult thing. We have a 9 times higher suicide rate, primarily than the general public, primarily with ages under 21. Under the age of 21, 41% of all trans people attempt suicide, okay? It is extraordinarily high. Bullying is huge. Now, what comes about? Because of the internet, online bullying, which is even more devastating for these young people. And in some cases, we even have, say to North Carolina, government coming down on them and saying, you can't be who you are. You have to go in the bathroom that your birth certificate says you are, okay? So there's a lot of issues for that. So the mental health of the trans community is by far the most difficult. I struggled with it all my life, but I had my ways of diversion. I had the games. I had a tremendous family. I became, my job was to raise my family and raise great kids. And there's nothing I'm more proud of.